Hello, Card Kingdom YouTube. I am producer Chris, filling in for Kenji as he is on parental leave, and this is the Cartographia Phantom Draft League Cube. So this is a cube that is focused around lands, enchantments, and artifacts, which is going to be interesting, because I am mediocre at all of this to begin with. So let's see what we got here. Rampaging Baloths. Good old landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Pretty strong. Ascendant Pack Leader grows bigger when bigger creatures go. Hacker Mauling's always fun. I don't know where to value like lands and things like that in this cube because there's a ton of lands. We're going to be opening a lot of lands. Triplicate Titan. Triplicate Titan's fun at 9. I think I'm going to go with the landfall here. Dig Through Time is always good. I don't know what is going to wheel in this cube, because this is a very strange cube to begin with. So we'll figure it out as we go. Here, Walking Ballista is always fun. If we just go straight ramp, make huge Walking Ballista. Assassin's Trophy is a good cleanup card, especially since I believe, it can take out lands, which may be very useful, especially since there's a bunch of creature lands in this format. Minus Tirith is the... which, only if you attack with 2 or more creatures. It's not bad. Counterspell, Sagemore Witch is the Magecraft one. Shambling Vent if we want those man lands. Creature lands. If we control artifacts, make things... draw cards. All of this is very good. I'm kind of tempted to just take Walking Ballista here. And I think that is what I'm going to do. Knight of the Reliquary, huge in this sort of format where lands can be very important. Green Sun Twilight, interesting. Got the Courier. There's not actually a ton of ramp I'm seeing. It's all just stuff that works well with lands and things. Hollowed Haunting. If we end up going enchantments, can be pretty big. Which triome are you? Blue, black, green. I should probably start taking some of these lands. And stuff like Hollowed Haunting is tempting. Knight of the Reliquary is tempting. But for now, we are going to start hedging our bets a little bit on some of this stuff. Ramonot Excavator immediately jumps out at me. Obviously, stuff like Goblin Welder is extremely powerful. You can do a whole bunch of shenanigans with it. Onicolt Anvil can be extremely annoying to play against. Joint Exploration is some of that ramp we were talking about. But I think I want to go with Ramonop and start not worrying about having lands hit my graveyard. So that can be a thing we do. Stuff like Misty. Ash Barrens. All of these are good things. Which Wild Growth is the enchant land. It taps for an additional green. That is pretty good. I'm going to start taking some fetches just to open up my options later on. Which you're the Mardu one, which is absolutely what Misty Rainforest cannot grab. Creeping Tar Pit is pretty good for one of the creature lands. Which one are you? Oh, the Copy Enchantments one. Not terrible. Something like a Braid is always good. I think I'm going to take this Triome just to fix colors in case for later, because I'm still not exactly sure where I'm overall going with this, other than green is going to be a color in it. You're alright, Devouring Sugarmaw. I don't know about you, though. Fetid Pools, enters tapped but can cycle. Balaget Recovery is pretty good for one of the modal double face card lands. Which ones are you? Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, enchant player, whenever a player attacks, attacking player may create. It's not bad. Yeah, why not? Balaget Recovery was probably my second pick there. But I like ways to just passively make creatures over time. All That Glitters is pretty good if we go hard on enchantments. Renata's very good. Ominous Seas ain't bad. Research Desk, just if we need cards. Hive of the Eye Tyrant I feel like those creature lands are going to be important. And I don't have a killer land that I need something like Expedition Map for. All right, so here we have our first wheel. We can start to try and like dig through time sort of things. I like Blast Zone with Ramanop Excavator. That could be a thing. Triplicate Titan is also very good. So Dig Through Time or Blast Zone, I think, are my choices here. I think I kind of want to lean into the way this cube works and go for the land. Sure. Here, we're just kind of all over the place with our colors for now, so we'll just take the Shambling Vent because I like the security that creature lanes can give me. Now we just wait for the next booster. As I post the latest Rookie Explains Magic Slain short to the Card Kingdom TikTok. There's that Hollow Haunting again. If I'm going to take anything, like just based on pure power level here, it's kind of going to be Hallowed Haunting. Hugh the Entwood is very good, but I fear it. I am not strong enough to take Hugh the Entwood. Sacred Foundry's good. Kogla is always fun. Something like Sacred Foundry can be very useful, especially as we're branching out a bit. I'm going to go with Kogla here, though. We aren't branching into red terribly much yet. I'd like to keep things somewhat limited as far as colors. Because even though this cube can support, 5-color decks, it seems pretty easily. I'm trying not to go too crazy if I can help it. Exile top card here, library. Maybe. None of this is really super standing out at me. We'll take Yona there, and what were you even? Audacious Reshapers. Sure. Probably not going to end up playing that so far unless something ridiculously artifact-wise jumps out at me. But right now, all we got is the Ballista. All right. What do we have here? Green Sleeves is fun. Green Sleeves pretty good. Nissa helps us search up lands. Or no, she's the Lotus Cobra one. All right, that's fine. Liberator's fun. Regal Bunnicorn can be fun. Zeator's Proving Ground is going to be very good. Something like Ravenous Chupacabra is always good, but I don't think I want to first pick it out of this pack. I think the choice for me here is going to be, well, let's just make sure I remember everything you do. Colorless spells, artifacts, so they have flash. That's not really us. Make things and goes off sagas. So yeah, I think the choice here is going to be between Green Sleeves and Nissa. And I think I want Nissa. Reveal until we reveal an elf or elemental. I don't even know if I have another elf or elemental. Oh, well, it took too long, and we took Green Sleeves anyway. So Green Sleeves, I am fine with. All right, Avenger of Zendikar is always kind of fun to take. Omnath is crazy good. We're going to build this so we can pretty reliably, somewhat reliably, hit 2 land drops on a few turns, which would give us the 4 life and a bunch of mana. Omnath Avenger, Bloodstained Mire is obviously very good. Fabled Passage is fantastic. It's a bunch of removal-y things, so it's Avenger, Omnath, or Bloodstained Mire. We already have all the colors of mana we would need between everything here, just between the triomes. I'm gonna go with Omnath just on pure power level. Like, Avenger is very good, obviously. But I think Omnath lets us do silly things faster. What do we have here? You're not what I was thinking you were. Inventor's Fair, if we were more artifact-based, maybe. Sylvan Advocate is pretty good. Maybe. I don't know. It's fine. Druid class. Play additional lands. That is very good. I think Druid class here, especially if we're going for the multiple landfall off of Omnath, is going to be what we want. There's other good cards here, like Legion's Landing for us. Obviously, any 3-colored land is going to be pretty good here. Yeah, I think we're going to go with Druid class pretty easily. All right, what do we got? We got Ketria Triome. Which Erebos are you? Whenever another creature controlled dies, we may pay 2. It's all right. I don't think that's what we're going for here. Spirit Sister's Call is very fun. Just lets you swap things out of your graveyard. Rashad and Port, obviously very good. Haywire might be worth it just as a hedge against what other people are doing. I honestly think Haywire might here. We do need creatures and some answers to what other people are doing. Nothing immediately jumping out at me here. Something like Cut Down is always good. We could escape to the wilds. Yeah, I don't mind Escape to the Wilds. It's another land drop. We aren't really built to be a huge, like, Blood Artist-y sort of deck. We do have blue for Omnath, but I'm kind of trying to keep the actual cards in the deck somewhat not spreading across too many colors if I can help it. Stuff like Portable Hole can be good if our opponent isn't just going big. Ooh. Oh my, Corvold. Corvold is extremely good, and with Throminop Excavator, we can sack and replay lands. Kessig Wolfrun is a good game ender. Xander's Lounge as just a 3-color land is very good. Golem, or Smeagol, sorry, I remember being pretty good. More lands, which is neat. Living Death obviously does some good work. Planar Outburst if we want a Wrath, but I think Corvold's going to be the pretty easy take there. What do we have now? Something like Duress is always funny, but often a blank. Skyclave Relic, if we can kick it for 6 mana. They are indestructible manaliths, which is pretty good. Traverse the Ulvenwald helps us fix our mana and is probably going to be the take here. Stuff like Spitefield Hazard is obviously pretty neat. Recommission isn't bad. Treasure Cruise, obviously powerful. We're going to take the Traverse just for mana fixing and whatnot. I like Wasteland with Ramanab Excavator, especially with all the wacky lands in this format. People are still going to be playing basics. I don't think Wasteland is going to take anybody completely out of the game, except in very specific situations. But I would rather be the one with the Wasteland plan than facing it down. All right, here. This is the Saga one, which we aren't really set up for. Gemstone Mine is fine. Unearth can do some good work for us. Can rebuy our Ramanop Excavator. Don't have a ton of other stuff at the moment. Gemstone Mine actually does play pretty well into our replay lands from the graveyard plan, which I know I'm leaning pretty heavily on right now. But also, we just have a bunch of weird color requirements, so stuff like Gemstone Mine is automatically not terrible. Kind of thinking Woe Strider here, like Boonsader is fine, Molten Vortex. Molten Vortex works extremely well if we get that plan going. So we'll stick there for now, but I don't know that that's going to be the way forward. I don't think any of this is really for us. Yeah, none of it's really exciting. We'll just take First Lightning in case we absolutely need removal later. Port can be fun. Tribal Flames Sure. I don't know if we're main decking this, but out of the sideboard, that sort of thing can be pretty good. What do you do again? It's just a big dude. I don't know. I don't think we're playing anything out of there. I'll take an Eidolon. Why not? And hey, a Spikefield Hazard. Oddly good in weird situations, this card. All right, last pack. We have Gearhulk. We have the Herald of Anguish, which, you know, is good if we get there. Breeding Pool's good. Den of the Bugbear, always fun. Flooded Strand, very good. Sithis, not bad if we get to some more enchantments. I don't think we're terribly enchantment heavy right now. Farseek, not bad. Cathar Commando, good answer for other things. Here, I'm kind of tempted to take something like Flooded Strand, because that grabs our Triomes. Flooded Strand for the moment. I am looking at this Herald of Anguish. I don't think we're taking that. We just aren't quite set up right for it. So it's either Flooded Strand, Breeding Pool, or Den of the Bugbear, just because, boy, is Den of the Bugbear really annoying once it gets going. I think Flooded Strand for now, just to try and be able to hit all of our weird color requirements. Whoa, it just took the Combustible Gearhulk for me. Don't know what happened there, but we'll work around it. Calyx, very good. Rafine's Tower, if we want that. Hangerback Walker, if we want the duo with the Walking Ballista. Pretty good. I think Westvale Abbey's really for us now. Hey, it's Steve. Steve is always fun. Unholy Heat, not bad. Calyx, pretty good. Calyx might be the take. Hammer is also pretty good. Hammer, Hangerback, Calyx, or Tower. I might just go silly and go with the... Yeah, let's just go with Hammer. Let's be that guy. Kadama of the West Tree, very fun. Modified creatures. I don't know that we actually have a ton of way to modify our creatures right now. Tarn, always a good take. The Ozolith can be funny with some of our +1/+1 counter shenanigans that we do have. I don't think we have a ton, though. There's like Walking Ballista, Corvold. We didn't take Calyx, so that's not an option. Other than that, there's always stuff like Fertile Ground. I'm honestly just thinking Tarn. Jugan Defends the Temple is not terrible. Arid Mace is always fine. Loamcrafter Fawn, what do you do? Discard one or more lands. Return that many non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. That can be funny. Mimic's pretty good. Sunfall's a good relief valve. Takanuma can buy back a few of our creatures that are pretty big hitters here. Kind of tempted to do the Fawn. Just try it out and see if we can make that work. Taiga and Trop, both very good. Chiscoria, the Forge Tyrant, is more artifact-based than we're going. Exploration, I think, is the take, even though there's a bunch of good stuff here. Because if we want, like, Omnath, Corvold, silly shenanigans with, like, Excavator sort of stuff, Exploration does pretty much exactly what we want. Reclamation Sage is fine. A good kind of catch-all answer, which I think I end up taking because the Triome here is good. I already got pretty decent land coverage as far as colors go. So yeah, we're going to take Rex Sage just kind of as a catch-all answer to a lot of what is going to be going on in this format. The other Ozolith. That can be fun. Lava Claw Reach is pretty good. Which one are you? You're fine. You're not for us. This can be pretty funny. Banneret's fine. Rosy Cotton's okay, but nothing great. So yeah, nothing super interesting for us, except for Braids, which I think I'm actually going to take, because I'm set up to be able to sacrifice lands a little better than a lot of my opponents. First glance, I think it's a pretty easy Beseiju here. In a set this heavy with like lands, artifacts, and enchantments that matter, I am perfectly fine with that. And since we're taking so many lands, we don't actually even have that many cuts necessarily to make. We only need 5 cuts right now for like a 23 card deck. So let's take out some of this stuff that we know we're probably not playing. What do you do again? Sacrifice an artifact, reveal cards from the top your library until you reveal an artifact. That really only hits like Haywire Might and Walking Ballista for us right now. All right, what do we got? Herald of Anguish, the Idol of Oblivion. I don't know if we're creating enough tokens reliably for that. Sith is still not terrible. Nishoba Brawler could be fine just as a 2-drop to get us somewhere. Yeah, I doubt we end up playing it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take Herald of Anguish. Because I can. You can't stop me. Doomwake Giant, if we were a little more reliably enchanting, I think that'd be a thing. We're a little more land-based than enchantment-based right now. Calyx isn't bad, though, for the enchantments we do have. This Crowbar isn't terrible. What are you even? Artifacty things. Yeah, I'll just take Calyx here. Seems fine. Kodama's still good. Brain Maggot actually is a thought here. As is Griff Spoon, honestly. I almost think I rather want Griff Spoon. Just lean into stuff like Hallowed Haunting a little bit. It might just be Jugan here. Or Metallic Mimic. No, that's not the actual one I'm thinking of. Scrap Heap Scrounger isn't terrible. We'll go with Jugan. Here, ooh, maybe. Crawling Barrens is fun. We're going to take the Trop just to fetch out, shore up our ability to grab blue. Sheltered Thicket? Sure, a cycling land, why not? And the Banneret, I don't think we're ever going to play, so we will just move you to the sideboard in a second and figure out our deck. All right, so we already have 12 lands. We aren't going to be playing too many basics. We're going to go through the lands in a second here and figure out exactly what it is we're keeping or not. And also maybe look at, how many of what colors we have. For now, let's sort by, I can't do creatures, non-creatures. Fine. All right, what do we got here? Too much. A little too much. All right. So what don't we need? We can cut like a couple of creatures maybe, just depending on what else we're taking. Tribal Flames is going to be pretty all right. So what do some of these do? Fires Mount Doom enters the battlefield. It deals 2 damage to target creature an opponent controls. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature. It's fine if we're up against equipment. And then we can get cards off the top of our library that we can play that turn. When we do, 2 damage to each creature. That's not bad. I think that's a sideboard card, though. if we're facing down a ton of equipment or we just need the extra removal, I think we're going to have plenty of game actions to take. Like, we'll find cards. I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the modal removal stuff, I'm fine kind of taking out to start, just because I don't know what the other decks are going to look like for some of that smaller removal. The damage-based removal, anyway. Stuff like Spikefield Hazard, I'm a little more fine taking, just because it can also be a land in a pinch. We'll figure out how our red is looking here in a second, and what we're actually going to need from the red. Tribal Flames, Druid class, very good. Curse of Shallow Graves, whenever a player attacks enchanted player with one or more creatures. This just gives us a bunch of like endless fodder, especially for stuff like Braids, which is pretty good. So I think Curse stays, Hammer Perforos, Sacrifice Lands, which is our Ramanop Excavator plan, so I'm kind of fine with that. Jugon defends the temple, gives us an little Llanowar Elf Monk, buffs up some creatures, and then it can buff up creatures forever. That can also buff up our target creatures from things like Curse or Hammer, or our token creatures, I mean. And then as long as we control 5 or more of those modified creatures, this is huge. So pretty good. Lone Crafter. Let's just throw lands into our graveyard from our hand and buy back another card. I think that's pretty alright. Rex Sage, we've already talked about. Just kind of a good catch-all answer in a format like this. Modify stuff based on enchantments. We have a decent number of enchantments. We have more enchantments than I thought we did. Kind of just looking at things. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Hallowed Haunting, very good with the number of enchantments we have. Eidolon Blossoms, also pretty good with all of our enchantments. Again, great with our enchantments. Omnath, just good on its own. Escape to the Wilds, I feel like we can get rid of here. I know it's the extra land drop and very good on its own. But we need to figure out some place to make cuts, and we're starting to just kind of run out of options. Herald of Anguish, we got the 2 black for Braids here. We're at 12, kind of 13 lands right now. So assume we're adding 4 more lands. We only need 3 or 4 more cuts, which isn't bad. Walking Ballista, I kind of like having as a... Well, you know what? We have a ton of stuff. I'm actually fine cutting Walking Ballista here. Like, if we were going huge mana each turn, maybe, but we're being a little more crafty than that with, like, sacking lands to Braids and things to hurt our opponents. I'm not sure we're going to really be able to use Walking Ballista to the best of its ability, so we'll cut it for now. A lot of these other top-end creatures are pretty bonkers, though. Herald of Anguish could maybe go away just because we aren't casting it anytime soon. We have 1 artifact in the deck now, and no reliable way of making any more. Oh, we have 2 with the Combustible Gear Hulk, but yeah, so Herald of Anguish, very good. I don't think for us, though. So, 1 more cut of some kind. The Molten Vortex. I just like Molten Vortex because if we have a one, it's a good little relief valve on its own for taking out small creatures, just going to the face if we need that last bit of reach. Importantly, with Ramanop Excavator, as long as we have an extra red open, we're just basically filtering our land plays through our graveyard first. So I'm fine with that staying. What is our last cut? I'm almost tempted to take out the Baloths. Among our big things, the Baloths I almost feel do the least. we're making a ton of token creatures anyway. Yeah, I honestly think it's the Baloths. Alright, let's just add in a few basics here. Basically... alright, so we add in those 3. We have one more land to add to get up to 17 if we're counting Spikefield Cavern as a land. So let's figure out our mana a little bit here. A bunch of things make green. Savoy is the Mardu one. So there's 1 source of red, 2 source of red. Zagoth does not make red on its own. We could use another red source. Feel like we're good on blue and green and black. White is very much a secondary color here. How much do we actually like Griff Spoon? The only reason I really like Griff Spoon here is because of what it does with Hallowed Haunting. Having some way to deal with flyers or just get in their way is pretty good. We do have a bunch of flyers already. Alright, we take out Griff Spoon. We add back in the Baloths, I guess. Maybe Escape. Sure. We'll add back in the Baloths. So Hallowed Haunting and Omnath are now really only things we need white for. And we have the Shambling Vents, Void Triome, A-Planes, Gemstone Mine that can make it. That seems fine. Black sources, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that need black. We have Zagoth, Triome, Shambling Vent, Savoy does make black, and the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, and the Gemstones. We're good. We're pretty much good on everything. Red was Sheltered Thicket, Savoy, Mountain. I guess we could use another mountain. We have a bunch of early red, so sure. That last ad will be... Sure, the last ad will be... Yeah, I actually like the forest better. A lot of our stuff like exploration. We want forests more, most of anything, because that helps everything else go. So here's our deck. Here's what we're rolling with. We'll see. All right, here we go into round 1 of the Cartographia League, and this is not a keepable hand with 1 land. So, we ship. That's a little better. If we can hit a 3rd land, we have a bunch to do. So we'll keep for now. We will ditch the Baloths for the moment, since we're the farthest away from being able to do anything with that. My opponent is mulliganing down at least to 5. So that's unfortunate. So over there. They are starting out there. With just a tap land. Come on. There we go. What do we draw? All right, we got a bunch to do once we hit our 3rd land. It's just hitting that 3rd land that's going to be a question. What do they got? Black-red so far. The Oni Cult. All right. That Reclamation save will be very good if we hit that 3rd land. That's not bad either. Which one are you? All right. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the Oni Cult Anvil right now. I ain't messing with that. So that worked out. See if that messed with their plans enough. To do anything about. Shock themselves for the access to the white mana. What do we got? Mayhem Devil. Glad I got rid of that. Only Colt Anvil, but we're going to need an answer for that soon. There's land number 3. We cannot Braids. We have Ramanop. Once we get Braids, we can start sacking lands and making them do that. For now, I think we start out with Jugon defending the tower. The temple, not the tower. And start getting this train going. So we have access to 4 mana. We just don't have the double white or the double black yet, which was likely to be a problem given our weird mana base. Felidar Retreat. There's a target for our Rex Sage. They're definitely going to swing in, which is absolutely fine. No blocks yet. The Lone Crafter Fawn is interesting, but not terribly good right now. And we're just going to go ahead and do this. Blow up all of their useful things. So I have a 2/2, a 2/1 that can trade with the Mayhem Devil if I need it to. I'm fine just holding them back and waiting for that since I'm going to have this flipping next turn for another creature. Hexgold Halberd gives them a creature. A pretty good one, too. Gonna need to figure out something to do about that. If they swing with the devil, I'm pretty tempted to double block here. Yeah, I'm fine. With that, they only have 1 card left in their hand. And they're going to use it right now. That Sugar Maw. Okay. We're going to need to find an answer for that soon. They are definitely casting it next turn. We have done a fairly good job of keeping their board clear of useful things, so that's a good start. Alright, we just need bodies here, right? And what do you cost? You are 1 red, so I can just leave this here, pump this up by 1, get rid of the Hexgold Halberd, which gives them less to do with the Sugar Maw next turn. I kind of like that. Although if I'm gonna do that, I'm kind of tempted to get this out now. So when I do it, I can replay that. Yeah, that ain't terrible. Would be really good to draw at least 1 more land next turn. Especially if it's one... Yeah, I can draw the land, Loam Crafter Fawn, discard the land to get back one of these 2, and then play the land would be ideal. Here comes that Devouring Sugar Maw, as expected. They are going to get to swing in with that token. There's not a lot I can really do about that. Oh, they didn't. Well, I guess Ramanop would have eaten it, so that works out. Land? Land. Not one that comes in untapped, but still something useful. Sure. We'll do that. I will discard one land. I will buy back the Haywire Might. Mostly just because it's less mana intensive than the Reclamation Sage, and it gains me a little bit of life, so why not? Nothing there. And play a land out of my graveyard. And we are starting to cook the way we were planning on before. So next turn, I can play the Haywire Might and Braids and just start getting really silly with things. They are going to get some amount of time here to do whatever they want with that Devouring Sugar Maw. But they are pretty much playing off the top. They only have one card in hand. So as long as we can survive like 2 or so turns, we aren't in an overly terrible spot. So they swing with the Sugar Maw, absolutely. No blocks. I will go to 13. What else you got? Oh dear. That was something I was afraid of. All right. Well then. With that, what do we want to discard here? I'm going to discard the Hollowed Haunting. Don't think we're doing as much with that anytime soon. Hammer is interesting. For now, what we are going to do is play Braids. Was that, did I not hit that right? My bad. Black. There we go. Black 1. There's Braids. Do not want to pay anything. And we are going to get Exploration out here next. And then we are going to sacrifice a creature here. What is it Braids does if they don't? They lose 2 life and I draw a card. I am okay with that. At the beginning, end step, do that thing. So I can sacrifice either the Loamcrafter Fawn or a land. I'm going to start out with the Fawn. See what they do with that. We drew Gemstone Mine, which certainly isn't awful. Sword of the Animist. That could be a problem. All right, we probably need to block with something here. Or I just lose. That's always an option too. All right, they have no cards in hand. They are definitely swinging for 11. So as long as I block 2, I'm okay. Yeah, something like that. Should be at 1 after this. Then they're out of cards. I have to discard. I will discard for now. Kogla is interesting. I can't cast it, but it's interesting. If I could cast it, that would solve at least one problem there. Well, we weren't too far off of something good to do. For now, let's blow up the halberd. I'm pretty sure I'm toast here. I don't think there's anything I can really do. Unless I draw some magic that I'm unaware of in my deck. I do like this engine we have going. It's just I need something to deal with their top end when it happens. And yeah, they are going to... Do they misclick and sacrifice the Herald? Nope. Game 2. Ooh, and a Wasteland. Wasteland actually does almost nothing against me, hilariously. Alright, is there anything I think is worth bringing in here? Burst Lightning deals max 4 damage, doesn't deal with any of their big stuff we saw. Fires doesn't really do anything. I could bring in my own Herald of Anguish, but I think we run it back. There's, like, Griff's Boon is a possibility just to have an early flying blocker if I need it, but I don't think it's really worth it because it's just a chump blocker at that point. All right, let us get to game 2 here. I won the die roll, hilariously. Not really. All right, this... Weirdly enough, I'm fine with this, mostly just because we have a Beseiju. I have Misty Rainforest to go get something, and a Cycling Land, so... this hand has more to do than it looks like it does. Our opponent is mulliganing. Just lead on the Misty, fetch on their end step, grab probably one of our tri-lands. I don't know if I have anything I can grab that makes white, because that's the only, like... Don't think I got Aspar's headquarters. Zagoth or Trop, I think we'll just go with the Zagoth. It's the most colors out of everything we have. And then we grab a mountain, just to fill out our colors, and play, pretty wonderfully, a Druid class. The next turn, it might be worth it just to bump that up and play 2 lands out, because that's pretty good. They're leading off with Jadar. All right, we can deal with that. Especially if we're gaining life off that Druid class, we can deal with that for a while. That's not bad either, but I am, I think, going to start by just bumping up the Druid class to get that going. And we will play out our Hive, gain more life, and pass the turn. We have Beseiju ready to go. We can play out a Sheltered Thicket. We can play Jugon. We're looking all right. Voldaren Bloodcaster. Whenever you create a blood token, if they control 5 or more, transforms into something pretty good. All right. Find a way to kill that soon, or at least deal with it one way or another. Ooh, that's going to work well with that Bloodcaster, isn't it? Was it non-token? Whenever... Non-token creature. Alright, so that is less of a worry than it might have otherwise been. What do we draw? That's pretty good. Alright, so we'll play out the U. Play out U, because why not? And I guess we just play the Sheltered Thicket. I'm not going to bother yet with cycling it. You're not legendary or anything, right? No. And you cost 5 to get to level 3, at which point a land I control becomes creature with haste and is equal to the number of lands I control. So that's going to be pretty good. That'll probably be the forest or the mountain. We've definitely successfully ramped a bit here. We'll see if they have a target for the Boseiju other than some of their multicolor lands here. How big are you already? You're at 2-1? Oh, but you're flying. All right. Fair enough. Not blocking that token quite yet. Four lands. What do you got? Judith. That's an issue. Still goes off of non-token, so the zombie token, excuse me, zombie tokens at least aren't going to mess me up. Exploration is a thing. You become capable of blocking a little better suddenly. Yeah, I don't got a lot else to do here. I do want to hold on to Boseiju for now. So for the moment, let's just do this. And we'll tap you for that. And pass the turn for a moment with our 6/6 blocker. Staring them all down. So the Bloodcaster is still a free swing since it flies. Nothing else can really profitably swing. If they do just swing with the zombie, we just block it now. Soak up some of the damage. Ooh, that's fun. That's a good Boseiju target. Oh dear. That might be a better Boseiju target. Nothing I have is legendary yet, right? So I can't cast you. Nope. So the funniest way to do that with the Maul of the Skyclaves is going to be next turn, wait for Jadar to swing, then blow it up, and then block Jadar. Do that just to soak up a little bit of life. So 3 damage marked on there. They don't have a follow-up, it looks like. Which is fine by me. Braids is fun. Braids we can absolutely do stuff with. I don't really want to do much to it, though. I want to hold up this front of blockers now. And I am actually going to sack the exploration. Just to draw me a card. Ding them a bit. So I can buy that exploration back with Loamcrafter Fawn the moment I draw another land. Braids also does make Seiju cheaper to cast. That's fun. Volraths is a bit of a problem as far as they're just going to be able to keep recurring whatever I kill. But as long as I can put up a big enough front that I can just block forever, that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is I need to find a way to kill this thing. All right, here we go. They aren't even swinging with them? All right. That does let us now happily block Jadar and this zombie. Although I think I need to do that the other way around. Yes, I do. There we go. Yeah, you're gonna get all weird about it. Kill Braids, that's fine. I can buy Braids back if I need to. And what else do they got? 2 cards in hand. You're just going to cycle it. All right. Cycled away planes, that's fine. Oh, this thing's flying. That's why they didn't swing. I promise I know what my cards do. That's not the worst. Let's cast this first, just see what we draw. Put you on first. If I don't draw anything, I can always pay to bump it up. Oh, that's fun. That's funny. I will be able to cast it this turn, so we aren't going to pump up the Eidolon at all. Draw me another card. That will be very fun. I can just swing in here if they want to trade. Great. It's mostly just about getting more stuff on board. Yeah, I would. Decline. They could block here. I'm not sure why they would. All right. That, to me, they don't really get. They were ahead enough on life. They had no real need to do that. They could have pretty easily just absorbed a hit for 2. Nothing left this turn. Next turn, we have the mana necessary to Kogla. which, again, obviously doesn't solve everything, but does enough. Dump another plains into their graveyard. We know they got haymakers in their deck. We saw them last game. Doesn't seem like they're drawing any of them. A Nettle Cyst. Alright. I think it's just a 1-1 for now, right? Oh, 2-1 because of Judith. Yeah, fair. Ooh, that's fun. Alright, let's make this work. Green, 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 1, 2, 3. There. They do get their blood, and they get to ping something for 1. Tribal Lands right now I think is only 3 for me. Oh yeah, you have land type, so it's a 4. I don't have a plains. I have everything else. But yeah, that'll be good. Alright. I'm cool with that. And then you are, whenever it attacks, just 1 or more. Alright. Yeah, I mean, this eats anything. So, sure. And then next turn we can really... Oh, Tribal Flames is a sorcery. I'm a fool. I was leaving this back because I was going to cast Tribal Flames, but with all of my big dudes, they just threw in the towel, and we'll go to game 3. All right, game 3 here. We have a Misty, so we have 3 lands, and the Traverse will get us to Omnath. Yenna will be able to copy Jugan before it flips. This seems fine to me. They are on the play with 7 cards in hand. Alright, so we lead off on Misty, then go Hive so it comes in untapped. Gemstone, we'll have Traverse going. I think all we're missing right now is, well, I mean, debatable. Just that Gemstone Mine means one of 2 things here. Alright. Good old Braids. Gonna see Braids every game, it seems like, which is fine. Braids is certainly powerful enough. They lead off with that Nettle Cyst again. Null Priest of Oblivion, not kicked. So 2 on Menace Lifelink is still plenty good for the moment. We will get our Triome. Ooh, that's fun. For now, ramen up, and we are just going to throw this out. It's either the plains or the mountain, and we'll go with the plains since we have Yana. Sure. Start arranging my hand a little bit here. How people arrange their hands is always fascinating to me. Okay, they're going. We definitely have a good start this game. Just as far as being able to put pressure on me pretty quick. I have a strong hand if I live long enough to use it. Which I should. That's going to be good too. All right. We got a game plan. We just need to live long enough to put it into action. All right, so next turn, I need that plains to be the gemstone mine if I wanted to get the landfall off of Omnath. Slight misplay there, but there's cast down anyway, so that wasn't going to happen one way or another. So the question is, next turn, do I play Yenna or do I play Omnath? Yenna is going to come down just a hair too late to copy Jugan because her ability can only be activated as a sorcery. So I'm pretty sure what we want here is Omnath. We could play Ramanop Excavator just to get more lands out of my graveyard, but I think that's a play for next turn. For now, let's just get scary. Oh, the black. Omnath isn't black. I made yet another mistake, but that's okay. We can still do fine out of this. Especially with Ramanop there, we can do fine out of this. All right, I am going to I can sacrifice the land, but I think I would rather get the Misty back first. So for now, we will sacrifice this exploration, which is just funny. That is a problem with the Mayhem Devil. Just accelerates their clock. I can always have Braids just block, though. So they can't swing with the Mayhem Devil unless they have removal for Braids and flash 3 or 4 cards in their hand. We got plenty to do once we hit the right mana for it. It's just a question of that. I'm not too precious about Braids right now to keep her around. And they aren't casting anything, which means they might have some good removal, but for the moment, it just means I get a second to breathe here, which I'll take. Is there any reason I shouldn't do that? I don't think so. We play out our Misty. And we just pass for now so that we can block that. If they want to try and swing with it more. Though I get the feeling they're just going to have some huge monster somewhere. Oni Colt would be fine because we have the Rex Sage. Like, there's a lot of things we certainly don't mind them having right now. we have Eternal Landfall now with the Ramanop and the Misty. Oh, they're just going to do that. All right. That's certainly a thing they can do. It does mean we are free to block the... Or they can't swing with the Null Priest. We're just taking 3, and what does it do? That's it. Yeah, okay. It's just no extra effects when it attacks. And with Omnath, we are going to be able to absorb those hits because we'll be gaining more life each turn. Or at least an equilibrium if the life we gain is always from this fetch land. It'll actually be better than that since we're gaining a bunch of life each turn since it's 2 landfalls. Or, you know what I mean. We're gaining life. That's not terrible. That can at least take out the Null Priest if we need it to. For now, I don't think there's a way for me to do this without losing this land, but that is okay. I'll draw a card. That's not bad. Sure. Done. Yes. Misty. Give me that life. Give me that trop. Alright, we're doing pretty good. Things are working out. Life finds a way. So the protection here, I don't think is going to matter almost at all. The landfall is going to be fantastic, seeing how with that Misty Rainforest, we're pumping out 2 for a land, and they thought the same I did. So, that went well after that first game. Let's move on to round 2. Alright, here we are in round 2. This is a very strange hand, because we lack green to really do a lot of our stuff. But we can play Molten Vortex, we can get Hayrmire White on the board, and we have a decent amount of the way to some of the other stuff. I think we can do a little better here. Scalding Tarn gets us to traverse, gets us to other places to go. We have a bunch of colors. This seems better. We can get the curse out pretty quick, especially with that hive. I think I ditched the blossoms here. Yeah. All right. Even better. All right, so we go Misty first. We're going to get one of our Triomes out and traverse at the end our next turn. The Reality Chip. You can look at the top card of their library at any time. And nothing until they can reconfigure. Okay. Let's get our Triome. And we'll play our hive and traverse for now. Let's grab a... Yeah, we'll grab... Let's grab our plains, because we're going to get a red source in a minute with the Tarn. There you go. Play your land first. And nothing. All right. Not sure what that was. There's a vortex. That's fun. Do they have counter magic? they need 3 artifacts, right? All right, declare Wasteland, enchant them, see if they have a counterspell, which is not the end of the world yet, if they do. All right. So next turn we can find our red source, or just play Spikefield Hazard as land if we need to. They are going to cycle the Lay Claim. So you do, just steal something. All right, still nothing from them. Not terrible. I'm just going to play this and pass for now. Hold up the Wasteland in case we need it. But the Inventor's Fair isn't online yet, and they aren't doing anything else. There we go. Dragon Ring Glider. Alright, so they're going to get a 4/4 Hasty. Not ideal, but certainly not the end of the world. We can eventually shoot that down with that Molten Vortex if we really need to. They do now have 2 artifacts. Need to be mindful of that. We will grab our other Triumph. There's a Braids, which is good fun. I kind of think we just want to get Corvald going, though, because why wouldn't we? Sacrifice another permanent. We will go ahead and sacrifice our planes for now. Because next turn, once we start swinging, we can stack triggers so that we get our zombie first, and then can just sack that. Alright, they're going to use up multiple cards now to try and take out Corvold. Fair enough. There's the reconfigure. Alright, what is this thing now? Still just a 4/4? They can now look at and play the top part of their library, which is, you know, a thing to be mindful of. But we can start doing some other stuff. This is just a straight up legendary. Alright, what do we want to do to take care of this? I kind of want to play the Hallowed Haunting and then get the Molten Vortex down just to start with all of that. Although I don't think my lanes let me do both in one turn. Not quite. Savoy, it's not the right colors, but that's not the end of the world still. Alright, they might start going a little fast for us to keep up with if we don't find an answer or two here pretty quick. Uh-oh. What was that? Target non-creature artifact. But it is an artifact now. That's interesting. So I'm just dead, right? Wow. Alright, we definitely need a little faster start next time. What do I have? Burst Lightning might not be terrible here against some of what they have. Do I bring in Burst Lightning? Probably over the Molten Vortex, which is just a little slow here. Or honestly, I should probably just cut the Hallowed Haunting, since that takes up a whole turn usually. there's a lot of like my deck does have a lot of stuff that requires a decent amount of setup. Sure, we'll ditch. It's Hollowed Haunting, or I think Hammer and Hollowed Haunting is just a little worse as far as immediate utility. All right, we have a Vortex, that guy, Exploration. We got a bunch of decent stuff. It's just a matter of if we can live long enough for it to matter. So we want to Scald and Tarn, pick up a green source, maybe the Tropical Island. And that way next turn we can Exploration and get both of these down. I mean, it's probably just going to be the other Triome. Who am I kidding? Triomes are, as it turns out, real good. Yep. That's not a terrible pickup. For now, we just go here. Play our lands. So until we get like Ramanop or something online, Exploration is pretty much just going to be Braids fodder, I was about to say. And since I can't Haywire Might that this exact turn, there's a lot I can do, but this I feel like is the most immediately impactful. I was about to say, I don't think Force Will is in this format, is it? Sack that, ding them for 2, draw a card. Yeah, fine. We can Haywire Might that thing the next turn and get our Molten Vortex down, so that ain't terrible. No, not quite. So that's Ward 2, right? Yeah. So we do need 4 mana to do that all, so we will... Or I can just get stuff down and set up this next turn. That doesn't seem bad either. Sure. Or do I just want that out? I have my Triumph, so I'm not hurting on colors, so we'll just grab that. And now I can do this. I really should just kill that thing. But I also am not in a rush, so I think we'll just leave it there for this second. And then next turn we have Greensleeves. Yeah, that's real. Doesn't overly matter yet, though. Non-creature. I am foolish. But that's okay. So we're not blocking that yet. The moment they try to attach or something, it becomes a non-creature, which is very silly, but works for me. Alright, let's get Greensleeves out there. Alright, Greensleeves, let's see how you do. Next turn we can traverse to make sure we hit the land drop, play out the curse. Fire Blast. I mean, that is only 4. There we go. Alright. They've had... Oh, man. They got answers for everything here. Still gain the 2 life, which is nice, but they might just have way too much removal for all my stuff too fast. Alright, the reconfigure. We can use Traverse and Molten Vortex to take that out next turn. Especially since they're tapped out and way behind on mana, that is not the worst option. Or we can just do that. That works too. Sure. It's just 2i itself, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And then we can traverse, which lets us grab anything. Blue. So I got options here. I can grab Omnath. I can grab Corvold, which is probably the right answer. Sure. And then tapped just wrong to play the Molten Vortex again because I'm foolish. Alright, they only have 1 card left in their hand. Let's see if it is useful here. Not yet. They do get to see what's on top of their library, so that fetch was probably pretty useful. Do I walk into a possible counterspell? Let's test the waters first. Black. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to cast the Druid class next. All right. Walking Ballista for 1. I'm assuming they reconfigure here. Yep. Alright, so with that for 1, I kind of just want to shoot it. I still only have the 1 red source, is a bit of a problem. Huh. How much are you to animate again? 4 mana, right? Yep, 3 and a black. So not quite yet. Need more red mana. We are going to hold on to that forest, though. Eater of Virtue is interesting. What's it you do again? +2 +0. Okay. All right. There you go. So very soon we can start shooting everything down, especially with that out. Except for the fact that I still do only have the 1 red mana. But they are drawing off the top. So what we're going to do is use our extra land drop per turn to gain some life, play out Corvold, have extra fodder. If we can draw another red source, fantastic. Oh, I need the red. Yeah. Well, kinda. Could cycle that at the end of turn, but for now, We'll just pass and see what they do. They are drawing off the top, but they can use the Walking Ballista now with the reality chip on it to play some things from the top of their library, or are they just going to move stuff around? Bring to Life is going to make that a 4/4, or at least bigger. Oh, I see. They split it up a little bit. All right, so they have stuff. Corvold can eat any of their stuff, though. They're all tapped out, so I'm just going to eat the reality chip here. We go down to 9, but we can start shooting all of their stuff next turn. Excellent. Yeah. I'm going to start blasting. Thopter? I'm going to go ahead and shoot that now. Sure. I think I hold on to that just so I can shoot down the Mimic next turn if I really need to. Walking Ballista doesn't give the Eater anything, right? Yeah. They can swing into Corvold with that, which is fine. They do have one card in hand. Let's see what you got. So the second Corvold's going to grow big enough to withstand that. And we can shoot that down. Although that's interesting. Well, that's fun. Potentially. Wow, my mana is so awkward. All right, so I can shoot that down, but I can't cast Yana and shoot it down. But I can still attack. While leaving Corvold up, which is nice. Let's eat the Mimic, I guess? Maybe the chip. Yeah, let's go with the chip. Yes, I would like to use that ability, please. Alright, so good odds we end up having to trade off Corvold here. Unless they just blow me out with some huge spell. Yeah, that'll do. Alright. Fair enough. We knew they had that from last game. On to round 3. Alright, on to round 3. We're on the play as we win the die roll. So, interesting. I like Druid class is a good start. Molten Vortex isn't terrible. Although I think this card is actually underperforming and I probably should cut it from the deck, but not quite enough to keep. That's a lot better. That is a turn 1 exploration into Triome, and we're off to the races. So we're going to keep that. Sadly, we're going to get rid of the Baloths. Play our exploration, play our Triome, and we are off. Next turn we get up to 4 mana. See if we draw anything fun. We have our X-Sage for something exactly like that. Not the highest impact thing to hit with their X-Age, but certainly not terrible. Anytime you can link a piece of removal, it's not a bad play. Black, blue. All right. They're going to be making some treasure. Ooh, that's a fun thing to curve into. Oop, did that wrong. We need black, green, red, green, whatever. There we go. Is there forcible in this format? Okay, didn't think so. Always yield. Let's ditch that exploration now that we don't really have a huge use for it anymore. Hey, that's fun. Oh, clicked straight through my combat step. Oh well. We'll see if they beat us with 2 life still on. Or if that would have appreciably accelerated the clock at all. Not bad. All of these are pretty good draws. We're going to play it as the cave. Let's get this out there. All of this is just to have more fodder to sacrifice to Corvold. We are not going to click through my combat this time. We're going to get rid of this one. We have this red source. Yep, fair enough. Still get the card. Sure. They don't have anything to use it on yet, but they will soon. Next turn, Jugen gets to pump both of these up a little bit. Prismatic Lens. They got a lot of setup. Just waiting for a payoff. That's a decent one. That'll sustain bad. At least not a bad start. That's what, 3/3? All right. Again, not a terrible start. Swinging with the one that can swing through it. There we go. That's what we're talking about. All right. Arcbound Ravager makes things real interesting. As it's just artifacts, yeah? Sack an artifact, yeah. All right. We'll see what we can do with that. That's not a terrible draw. So they can sacrifice 3 artifacts to effectively block their X-Age, but that feels very counterproductive. They could also do it, just sacrifice one thing, but anything we do shrinks the cyst. So I'm willing to play this out. I think I got a better shot, especially if this guy lands. They could have a counter of some kind. Not yet. Sure. You know what? Why not? Make a 3/3. And yeah, we'll pay 1 to have that enter with another counter on it. Not a bad turn. We are precisely 1 creature away from Jugan being absolutely nuts. Treasure map does go off now, though. So they got a bunch of mana to cast whatever either of these 2 cards are in their hand. And Metal Cyst is huge. Alright. Fair enough. Metal Cyst is a 6/6. We have an 8/8. And of course, Arcbound Ravager is always a problem. Importantly, none of their stuff flies. And I'm about to make 2 pretty big creatures here. Let's make sure that feels right. Jugon was about to get huge, and I was just going to be able to fly over their head. Even with all of their big stuff, it wasn't going to be quite enough. So seeing that, I do like Burst Lightning over Molten Vortex, which probably should have been the case to begin with. Like, I get Molten Vortex with Ramanop, Excavator, and a bunch of other shenanigans is cute. Cute is not always good, which is a trap I tend to fall into quite a lot. So we'll switch out for Burst Lightning just to try and take something out while it's still small, and go to game 2. They're going to be on the play. Oh boy. There's a lot here to like if almost any of these cards were another land. As it is, I ain't risking a 1-lander on that. Better. So we start on the Gemstone Mine. We ditch the Haunting for now. They're going to Fabled Passage and pass. We're going to start on Gemstone Mine so we can have Burst Lightning ready. And go from there. Getting a lot of decent hits here, actually. Oh, they're doing stuff. Trying to rearrange my hand while they're waiting for me to respond. There we go. Alright, nothing to do on 2. So we'll play that for now. Keep Burst Lightning up. This is probably our turn 3 play. Ooh, Legionnaire. Normally, very good. Unfortunately, I do have an answer. And if that answer can last long enough for Calyx to let something swing through on turn 4, oh boy, this could be pretty good. So we got that. Next turn, we play Calyx, pump him up a little bit, swing through and hits, we get to make another Jugan. Things could start getting pretty silly pretty fast. And it looks like we are in the clear, so let's see how this goes. All right. Oh, let's Play this mountain first so we can keep the gemstone mine around a hair longer. Alright, so next turn we could play the Curse swing, and if Calyx gets through, silly things happen. How big are you? Midnight Clock's interesting. How big are you? You're a 3/1. Beginning of each up, we keep putting hour counter. Alright. All of this is very interesting. Well, that's fun if we ever get there. Let's put it on you. Yield to that. So we got a couple options here. I'm going to go with this one. Have yet another Calyx trigger, which should let Calyx swing through fairly well. Not going to pump up the zombie. I want to keep the mine around as long as I can. At least until we find that ramen op or something. Yeah. Let's make another one of you. It's not an aura. Oh, it is an aura. It's a curse. And then we will pump up Jugon. This is vaguely gross. We're humming along pretty well right now. I'm gonna guess that means they didn't draw anything super great this turn. Liquid Metal Torque. That's a very scary card. Yeah, there's Go for the Throat, taking out Jugon. Makes sense. We have one card left in hand. They've scryed. They are approaching a whole bunch of things. It could be scary eventually. For now, though, we're just going to swing. And make a bunch of zombies. Well, 2. Which I think is enough. Take them out. Let's hope they don't have a board wipe. They need something pretty good here, though. Otherwise, I think we got it. They're going to get a bunch of treasure. So they can cast pretty much whatever. They have 7 mana, or 8 mana with the Midnight Clock. What do you got? Treasure Cruise is a start, but they're now down to 4, back up to 5 mana. They need to be able to effectively block at least 4 of my creatures or stop them from swinging or hitting one way or another. Toxic Deluge. That would keep them alive for a turn at least. Although hilariously, Braids, just sacrifice one of the enchantments, would then finish them off. Painful Truths. They are a diggin'. Toxic Deluge no longer does it. Don't think Emery's going to quite be enough. I got 2 blockers. Yeah, I was going to say, like, Solitude doesn't do it, Grief doesn't really do anything. So that was pretty good. We had one very kind of close-ish, grindy match, one where we got ran over, and one where we ran over somebody, which, for a cube that I had no idea what I was doing, I think went pretty well. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations, Kenji, on his new little kiddo. We wish him all the best. Have a fun leave. And to everybody watching, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next time. Have a good day, everybody.